Hey guys, it's Shaun back again with a new Let's Play.
Vor langer Zeit lebten die Menschen
This time we're
glücklich und
playing
zufrieden.
a game
Niemand
that
bemerkte den Schatten, der
didn't
sich
actually come out in
langsam über
English.
ihnen ausbreitete.
So we have this really nice intro. This game is,
Die Dunkelheit trübte ihre
it
Sinne
was
und
released
das
on
Böse fahr
the
sich tief in ihre
PC
Seelen.
Engine Super CD exclusively in
Vom
Japan.
Wahnsinn getrieben schmiedeten sie einen Pakt mit dem Teufel. Zu später Stunde kamen sie zusammen, um gemeinsam die Mächte der
So this
Finsternis
entire
und dem
opening
sündigen Blut
is
zu rufen,
subtitled in
die zu
Japanese, but the
erlösen von ihrer
voice is
sterblichen
actually German.
Existenz, den Anbeginn einer neuen
Which is a
Welt vor
weird
Augen.
thing, but I guess the game's set in an area where German might be the dominant language, I don't know.
Und so begab es sich, dass nach 100 Jahren das Böse wieder Fleisch geworden war. Als unsterbliches Geschöpf der Nacht kann es die Gestalt des Wolfs, der Fledermaus oder des Nebels annehmen. Es labt sich am Blut der Menschen. Dracula, der Fürst der Finsternis, Herr des Teufelsschlosses, ist auferstanden.
So this game is... Now if you can read that, this is actually Akumajou Dracula X Chino Rondo. And in fact, you know what, let me delete that first one. Better known in the West as Castlevania Rondo of Blood. We're playing the Virtual Console release on the original Wii. I do have the HD version that was released with Castlevania Requiem on PS4, which does look nice, but it's a port of the PSP version that was included in the Dracula X Chronicles. So there are a couple of issues there related with that. So I thought, you know, for this, since the game was really originally released only in Japan, it wasn't until the PSP remake that we got to play this game in the West without importing. I thought we'd play this that I have. And the reason we're doing it now is because I very recently actually got the Platinum Trophy on Castlevania Requiem. And I wanted to do this game while it's still fresh in my head. So I know where the maidens are that we need to rescue to get the true ending, or the best ending, whatever. And I should be able to play it. That said, I'm playing this with the Wiimote horizontally. So I might need like a bit of time to get used to the control. I get used to this controller. It's been a long time since I played a game with the Wiimote horizontally. But Rondo of Blood released in 1993. We already did Symphony Night. This is the game that comes before it. Like the start of Symphony Night was the end of Rondo of Blood. And, you know, you may recognise this Richter sprite. It's not the best way to start. So in the PSP remake, Dracula X Chronicles, you were able to unlock the original Rondo of Blood, this game, in its entirety with English voices, which was really neat. But like I say, I wanted to do this version. There's nothing major to it. I mean, the game does have more story than pretty much any Castlevania previously, but it doesn't really matter so much. It's a fine looking game. shouldn't be so much of an issue. So if you've played any of the classic Castlevania games, you can notice a few major improvements already, like being able to jump on and off stairs. So this is Richter Belmont, possibly best known at the moment to a lot of people for being playable in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where he is in fact my main. I do love this theme that's playing right now. This is called Divine Bloodlines. It's generally considered Richter's theme, and it's one of my favourite Castlevania pieces. I remember watching the trailer before Smash Ultimate came out, and it was like, oh, Simon Belmont, and the trailer for that was awesome. And it's like, oh no, Simon has been beaten back by Dracula, what's he going to do? And then Richter appears in front of him, it starts playing Divine Bloodlines, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. And I thought it was really awesome. I just love this theme. So as far as the classic Castlevanias go, this is one of the more complicated ones. Not for any real reason of gameplay, it's more that this game has multiple pathways, there's the optional maiden rescue, 2 characters that you can switch between, and a more in-depth story than any Castlevania previously. So this is the Wyvern, the first boss. Not particularly difficult. Especially if you've got the axe, otherwise you're having to wait until it dives. Well, almost ruined my no damage bonus there. So if you beat the boss of a stage without taking any damage, you actually get an extra life. Which, you know, is always appreciated. Let's make sure we do this right. If you don't jump to grab the orb at the end of a Castlevania stage, what's wrong with you? So I think what we're going to do for this is we're going to go through the standard pathway. And of course we have Vampire Killer playing here. This is classic. Yes, I do want the knife now. We're going to go through the standard pathway, and then after that we will take the alternate pathway. Because at the end of the first 4 stages, there are actually alternate exits to each of the first 4 stages. And if you find them and beat the alternate boss, you'll go to the alternate next stage, which is really neat. Axe armors in this game can be tricky, but the big key I found is to not give them any room. Constantly be hitting them, don't give them a second to breathe, because otherwise they will make you pay for it. No, the soundtrack for Rondo of Blood is really good. It's got some really good renditions of classic Castlevania themes. Like this is Vampire Killer from the original Castlevania, which is a really solid piece. We'll be seeing some more classic Castlevania pieces later as we go on. I love this little riff here that comes in there. So, if you've ever tried to play a video game while talking, even if you're really good at a game, you may be aware that it actually can be a lot more difficult than you think. Rondo of Blood is not an easy game, and I will make mistakes at the best of times. Here's hoping that I don't make too many while recording this. So now we have the behemoth chasing us. And the biggest problem I usually have here is zombies being in the way when I need to jump. Oh, that's another life. Like that. Yeah, like that. This is the worst part of the stage entirely because of that. That was actually completely intentional. I thought I was going to take some more damage because of that. So we want the key, actually. It's probably a good thing I died because I forgot to grab the key. So the key is actually, it replaces your sub-weapon and is actually one of the most powerful sub-weapons in the game. Which is kind of weird, and I think it's referred to on TV tropes as a lethal joke item. So you look at it like that, and it does actually do damage, and if you can hit an enemy with it, I think it counts for like four whip hits. If you played your original Castlevania, you know one of these walls is breakable before you go down here into the waterway. Oh. I really hate the mermen. I feel like they're the worst in this game. So what we're actually after is this door here. We'll put the key in. Hey, stop that. Are you okay, little girl? So, if you remember back to Symphony of the Night, this is actually Maria Renard. You know what I think about it? I suppose there isn't really much of a reason for me playing the original Japanese version on the Wii Virtual Console. Beyond wanting to differentiate it a little bit. I mean, at this point, if you're going to see a more recent playthrough, it's going to be on Requiem. But I know Symphony of the Night on Requiem, because it's the PSP version. I know that has some visual glitches. I've not played Rondo of Blood anywhere near the level. I've not played Rondo of Blood anywhere near the number of times that I have played Symphony of the Night. So if there were visual glitches, I'm not. I can't point any out because off the top of my head, I don't know what the game's supposed to look like. But rather than take the chance, you know, there's this perfectly fine version here that I will play. That plays just fine. And, you know, it's a little bit different. Let's see the game has, as it originally was for so long. This version actually did come out after the PSP version. The remake, Dracula X Chronicles, came out in 2006, I think. This came out in 2007. It came out it might have been 2008. This came out the year after the PSP version, which we might get to actually. I did really enjoy the PSP version because that was my first experience playing this game. I love some of the little cinematic effects on the bosses that we get here. Like, the introduction to this boss is really cool. I love it. So this is Werewolf. And if you remember in Symphony of the Night, he was actually a dual boss with the Minotaur. And I am going to die here. Yep. So I didn't go into that with a full health bar anyway, but I was actually doing pretty poorly, and I will not make any excuses for that. I think this was actually the first Castlevania game that allowed you to save, because you cannot do this game in one run. It's not that you can't do it in one sitting, it's not like it's too long or anything. It's actually impossible. You will have to quit out of the game to get to some of the alternate stages. Damn it. So, it's like something been to stage 2. To get to alternate stage 2, now we'll have to go back to stage 1, which will require us quitting the game. Shouldn't have jumped like that. I got indecisive. That was the problem. There are gonna be game overs in this game. I will not make any bones about that. There will be game overs. This is not an easy game. And there will probably be a couple of excuses. What does the A button do? Is that the item crash button in this? I don't want to check because Hydro Storm is not actually as useful as you would think. Because chances are, if you've seen Hydro Storm, you've seen it in Symphony of the Night, where it's broken. In this one, not so much. So I am better off just using the Holy Water as standard. And also, Richter does not move as well as he did in Symphony of the Night. The only move he has is the backflip. He doesn't have the slide, he doesn't have the drop kick. Oh, so this is alright, actually. Watch out for that. There's, most bosses will actually do a desperation attack. For the most part, it can't kill you. But if they hit you, it will, even if you're like right at the edge, it won't kill you, most of them, but it will get rid of your no damage bonus.